Well, good evening, everybody. Let me know if you guys can hear me okay. I'll go ahead and get started. Just want to hop on here and give you guys an update. I know we had a lot of questions, a lot of comments in the comment section, and also messages today about the severe potential. Those of you who live in southern Michigan getting alerts on your phones and your weather apps saying that there's going to be tornadoes tomorrow, stuff like that. So we're going to address those, and then also going to talk about the snow. If you joined us for earlier stream today, we were waiting for the SPC outlook to get issued for tomorrow. And as soon as we hopped off, it actually got issued. So I probably should have stayed on a little bit longer, but that didn't work out. But we do have an update from the SPC. We'll go over that here in a minute and give our thoughts. So first and foremost, the potential for storms tomorrow. First and foremost, starting now, we have storm potential as ongoing currently in South Michigan. Just some general thunderstorms there. Nothing severe with those. Just some general thunder. Maybe some small hail, but that's a really low chance. So with that being said, the main area of concern is going to be for tomorrow, and that's going to be for areas along 94. So first and foremost, we've been kind of watching the past couple of model runs here. We go back to yesterday, look at the way this is shaping up. Let's go ahead and dive into this to the surface, or actually we're going to overlay supercell composite here, which is basically just an overlay of wind shear as well as instability. Go ahead and take the Midwest look. We're going to see how far south this was. So this was the model yesterday, and this is the overlap here of wind shear and instability needed for severe weather. Now, this is yesterday. Notice how it's far down here in Kentucky, Tennessee. Let's go ahead and jump forward to the latest run. We're going to see that has shifted significantly north into Indiana and Ohio, almost up to the Michigan border here. So the SPC, in accordance to that, has updated the risk to a pretty high risk. It's a pretty high risk down there. It's known as a moderate risk for Ohio, but we also see the enhanced risk in orange, slight risk in yellow, and then you look up to the top here. Michigan is in a dark green contour for severe weather tomorrow. Okay, now this SPC outlook does contain a tornado outlook, 2%. It does contain a wind, 5%. It does also contain hail for the exact same areas. So South 94 is what they're saying. However, we here, we don't agree with that entirely. I'll show you guys why. So looking at latest models, looking at what we need for severe weather, we need SLIM, shear, lift, instability, and moisture. We're not going to have instability on the surface. Okay, there's our big red flag right there. This is your surface instability tomorrow on the model. Okay, check out how far south that is from the border of Michigan. It's pretty much riding US 24 across Ohio and Indiana. So with that being said, that's one ingredient we're not going to have. So that right there tips me off to say we're not going to have a wind or a tornado risk with this. Okay, but one thing we are watching here is our elevated instability in the upper levels of the atmosphere, and that could cause some hail. So we switch over here to a Midwest look. We're going to take our convective product and click on MU Cape, and we're going to run this through tomorrow. We're going to see an overlap here in Michigan of good elevated instability here, which is going to support potential for large hail. So personally speaking here, unless that warm front can lift north into the state, which currently we do not expect that to happen, unless that happens, we're not talking about tornadoes or wind anywhere in Michigan tomorrow. But if it happens, at that point, we have to adjust and say, okay, now we have a risk. Okay. Regardless of if that warm front comes into Michigan, we're going to likely have a large hail risk that does extend to at least I-94 corridor, perhaps a little bit further north towards I-96, so Grand Rapids, Lansing, up towards the Flint, North Metro Detroit areas. This model in particular has a good overlap here all the way up to that 96 corridor. Latest models have kind of backed off on that, I believe. Here's the latest model into tomorrow. So actually has not backed off on that at all, but we still see a higher strip of it down here in southern Michigan along 94 here. So personally speaking, I would expect them to extend a hail risk further north, and I would expect them to take away this tornado and wind risk, maybe keeping the wind risk there, but the overall tornadic risk does appear to be staying currently well south of the border. People are going to start asking, will it shift north? Can it shift north? The answer is yes, it can, but the answer is also no, it probably, keyword probably won't. Just not expecting that to happen. I think these models are pretty much locked in. There is not one model that has shown that warm front lifting further north. So, with that being said, only expect a hail risk tomorrow. If that changes, we will update you. All right. That is for tomorrow. But I do want to highlight this as well. If you have friends, family, relatives, loved ones who live in Indiana or Ohio tomorrow, this risk is very serious. Okay. We don't use wording like this very often for Michigan, let alone Ohio, Indiana. This regional basis, the threat tomorrow is significant. SPC does word strong tornadoes, long track tornadoes. So, just overall, what I'm trying to get across here, if you have loved ones who live in Ohio and Indiana tomorrow, text them, call them, make sure they are aware of this threat. Do not take it lightly. Okay. Luckily for here in Michigan, we don't have that threat at this point. So, just hail to be worried about. If that changes, we'll let you guys know. So, second question people are going to ask about the snow potential for Wednesday and Thursday. So, we covered this before on the earlier stream today. We'll cover it again here. The latest trends over the past 24 hours have been westerly with the track of the snow. That is because the low pressure system is moving slower. And it's also expected to deepen more rapidly with that. So basically, when it deepens rapidly, it tends to turn more northerly. When it turns more north, that cuts off how far east that low can travel, so on and so forth. So that's why we've seen a westward shift. But I'll show you guys a little bit deeper here. Go ahead and click on our snowfall accumulation on the latest GFS model. We'll leave it right there. We're going to see the UP gets hammered with this. Northern lower gets hammered. And we may sneak in West Michigan here as well, but right now the model is off on Lake Michigan into Wisconsin. Okay. If I click compare to previous runs, we're going to go back and we're going to compare this. So keep an eye on where that snow swath is. Okay. I'll zoom out here so we can have a good look. So we're going to go backwards. Okay. This is the latest model run. Here's one before. Here's one again before, going back, and again further back. So just about 5 model runs ago, this snow was basically encompassing the entire part of the state here. But as this low progresses eastward, it deepens, it rapidly turns northward. That snow has shifted west. And that is also why we're seeing that possibility of a higher severe probability to the south, because that low turns north more rapidly. It allows that warm front to come further north into Indiana and Ohio. So overall expectation with this is if the UP and northern lower probably going to have 4+ inches, probably up in the UP going to have areas of a foot of snow at least. For areas in lower Michigan like Detroit, Lansing, Grand Rapids, Flint, through the Thumb, up through Mount Pleasant, you guys right now, the initial call is 1 to 3. However, we're not confident in that at all. Some models showed nothing. Some models showed 2. Some models are showing 4. Okay. We're going to lock this down more so tomorrow. As this low progresses, we'll have a better idea what's going to play out. But for right now, the more confidence exists is the UP and also northern lower Michigan. That's going to be for Wednesday and Thursday for the snow. That's all I got for you guys to share. If you guys got questions, feel free to drop those in chat now. I don't plan to be on here too long, but I hope I covered everything here pretty well. But if you guys do have questions, feel free to either rewatch this 9-minute segment. There's a lot of information packed in here that covers pretty much anything. Or if you guys have any questions, I'll feel free to ask. What's up, Chris? No, Matthew, I currently do not expect the wind or tornadic risk to extend further north. I would expect them to trim it back south, actually. I wouldn't be shocked, though, if they extended the hail risk further north. It's possible tonight, Dragon, and also again tomorrow. Any flooding concerns? Very minor at this point. I don't really expect much in the way of flooding at this point. For everybody asking about their specific locations, I covered everything in detail. I would highly suggest going back to rewatch this. Basically, synopsis is we have storms in southern Michigan tonight, Potential thunder, no severe risk tomorrow. Possible hail risk. Watching the warm front placement closely. Right now, expecting the severe risk to say south of Michigan, but large hail is possible tomorrow. And then snow likely, statewide snow showers, but accumulating snowfall likely in the UP and northern lower for Wednesday and Thursday. Will we be setting up tomorrow? Oh, where are we going to set up tomorrow? Okay, so for those of you who want to watch out of state chasing, we'll be live on our secondary page tomorrow. We're currently looking at targeting Salina, Ohio, Lima area. We're all going out there. Almost all of the staff here at MSC are going out south. We're going to have quite a few people out tomorrow, so we'll be out chasing, streaming to our regional account. Time frame for tomorrow in Indiana and Ohio is 2 p.m. at the earliest. It could be a little bit before that based on latest models. So we're going to say 1 p.m. to about 11 p.m. Sooner in the west part of this region, later in the east part of the region. So if there's any severe weather in Michigan, we will probably go live. Although the plan for right now for operations is we're going to stream primarily to our regional accounts. And then just keep an eye on Michigan. If anything goes warned in Michigan, we'll probably just pop on Michigan from the regional account and say, hey, you guys in X county should be on alert for, large hail. It's not going to be, not expecting the threat tomorrow to be anything. We're going to have to break in and say, you guys need to take shelter. Nothing like that. We're not expecting anything like that tomorrow. But again, if that changes, we'll let you guys know. Yeah, so tomorrow, for those of you who are, watching as chasers and stuff like that, if you're chasing tomorrow, I would highly suggest having people go with you, at least a two-person in each vehicle. Chasing this setup tomorrow solo it's not a good situation. There's going to be fast-moving, potentially strong tornadoes. It's you're probably not going to see them either. Honestly, they're going to be on you before you know it. So it's going to be a dangerous day for not only the general public but also chasers as well. Kathy says she's in Ohio. Stay safe tomorrow, Kathy. The regional account is Great Lakes Storm Chasing Network. It's got a red logo on it. You can't miss it. It's our pleasure, El. We love doing this. And while we're, talking about regional stuff here, if you guys have friends or family in the St. Louis area, there's currently a confirmed tornado in South St. Louis Metro. Just saw that pop in on radar, although it doesn't look like it's on the ground any further. Ferguson, Jennings area, Granite City, over that way. If the threat moves north, will you adjust your track for tomorrow? It depends on how far north. Because personally, I don't see it shifting too far north. And if it does, not very far into Michigan. So I still think Ohio, Northwest Ohio, maybe Northeast Indiana is the play for chasing tomorrow. Snow begins on Wednesday morning, Jeff. And it's going to last all day Wednesday. Could have some rain mixing in depending on where you're at in the state. And then lake effect snow possible on Thursday as well. Thank you, Drew. That is Great Lakes Storm Chasing Network. If you search it on Facebook, we're also on YouTube there. It's a tornado logo. It's a red tornado logo with a circle around it and just says GLSCN. Welcome to the Midwest, Brittany. Tornadoes on Tuesday, snow on Wednesday. That's exactly how it's going to go. That's correct, Tusk. Just south of Michigan. Although the SPC risk does include the I-94 corridor in areas south, I do believe they're going to drop that tornadic risk and also wind risk. They may keep the wind risk, but they should drop that tornado risk a little bit further to the south. But the hail risk will probably stay. Appreciate it, Tusk. How much snow Wednesday depends on where you're at. Most of the population here in lower Michigan, probably not much. Up in the UP and up towards Gaylord, Alpena, probably going to have maybe 4+, and parts of the UP probably going to reach a foot more than likely. All right. What is all the nonsense going on over mid-Michigan this season? Just rain? Yeah, Brittany, just rain. Maybe a rumble of thunder, although it should just remain pretty much rain for you guys. So recapping one more time before I hop off here. So SPC has us in a marginal risk south of 94 tomorrow. Okay. They currently have the risk in here for all hazards. However, I do believe they're going to drop that tornado and wind risk tomorrow. The warm front, which is what we need for instability and moisture and all that, is going to stay to the south in Ohio. Okay. If that warm front lifts further north, at that point, we'd be concerned. But right now, it does not look to be the case. That being said, if that warm front does stay south of us, hail is going to be a risk either way. And that risk may extend as far north as I 96 towards Grand Rapids, Lansing, and Flint. This is for tomorrow afternoon and evening. However, I do not expect there to be any wind or a tornado risk in the state. And then again, for areas on Wednesday and Thursday, snow is likely in the UP. Snow is likely in northern lower Michigan towards Gaylord, Alpena areas up there. Further south, in a majority of the population, just going to be probably a couple inches at most. So luckily, it shifted west with this low slowing down a little bit and deepening more rapidly. The combination of the two kind of shifts the threat for snow further west, but it also allows that warm front to lift further north, which is why we saw that significant shift northward into Ohio and Indiana with the risk tomorrow for severe weather. But with that being said, one more time, I'm going to say this. If you guys do have friends and family out of state in Ohio and Indiana tomorrow, send them a text, send it or give them a call, let them know of the threat. We do have potential for tomorrow to be a dangerous day, particularly across Ohio, but more than likely across Indiana here as well. No significant threat for Michigan, just going to be a hail threat at this point. Again, that changes. You guys will be the first to know. All right. I'm going to hop off here. If you guys have further questions, I covered pretty much everything in detail here. I suggest going back and rewatching the first 9 minutes of the stream. It covers everything in detail. But with that being said, I'm going to hop off here. I'll see you guys later. Hopefully, won't see you guys live for a while, but if anything does go severe or anything changes, I'll be back on here letting you guys know. So with that being said, stay safe, guys. Have a good night.